Prior to Browning, I attended PS 143, an elementary school in Corona, Queens, where I was another one of 1,200 brown faces sharing the same caramel skin tone. That was the beginning of my journey through color. In the 8th grade, I met my entire class of 30 boys at Picture Day. Without much thought, I had worn a baby blue blazer. My first time wearing a blazer other than for a quinceañera. When my advisor passed out the class photos the next month, I realized I had unknowingly called attention to myself. While most of my classmates had been wearing navy blazers to school since they were 5, my baby blue blazer really stood out. I also stood out too, with my darker complexion, like a brown dot on a white canvas. I felt embarrassed that I was different, but even more, I felt alone. After that day, I avoided any light-colored polos, yellows, oranges, and reds. I buried all my short-sleeve shirts with checkered designs, abstract patterns, and anything vibrant deep in my closet. I didn't want to stand out for the wrong, colorful reasons again. In the spring of my junior year, I took a painting course. I considered this class an escape from the endless integrals of my Calc BC class, the never-ending graphs of macro and microeconomics, and the accent placements I had memorized from our French 5 course. None of that would prepare me for the daunting task of the self-portrait. I started on a white canvas where I outlined my face and painted it with a large stroke of dark, dull brown. I quickly realized that it didn't come close to capturing my own skin. Frustrated and lost, I consulted my art teacher and peers, but their struggles were different than mine as their complexions were lighter. It annoyed me even more that I was alone in this journey to represent myself accurately with color as the only Latino boy in my grade. There was no art manual for a bronze skin color like mine. I dealt with color again when I walked into my internship into the risk management department at the Jersey City office of JP Morgan Chase. I would be part of a team that was assessing the risks of implementing AI for other departments at the firm. Hoping to blend in, I wore the typical Browning attire that I'd hoped would leave a good corporate impression: a navy blazer, a white button-down shirt, and a striped yellow tie. When I exited the elevator and walked to where my team was, I met my manager, who was wearing a bright pink polo shirt. This time, I stood out, not for light colors, but for the fact that I was wearing a blue blazer and a tie. For the rest of the summer, I matched my manager's colorful jersey style. Last fall, color reappeared again on the day I'd be receiving my college decision. I had planned to share the news with my family at home that night. It'd been an important night. I had watched how hard my parents worked, cleaning houses and working the deli counter. That could all change through higher education. I was at our local grocery store, rushing to check out with my mom that day. As the cashier scanned the leafy epazote, the green tomatillos, and the ripe yellow bananas, I checked the time on my phone when I saw a flash of burnt orange. I had been admitted to Princeton. All I could think was, oh my God, I did it, shaking behind my mom as she paid for the veggies. I couldn't tell her then, so I had to fake a reaction from my family half an hour later. What I didn't know then was that I'd be the first student from Browning to attend Princeton in over a decade. Back in the art studio, I continued mixing browns, yellows, reds, and whites for many months to find the shade that would truly reflect my own. When I finally showed the portrait to my grandparents last June in my living room, they were speechless with slightly watery eyes. They were amazed at the realism of the portrait of their grandson. Today, I look at this portrait with pride, not only for its realism, but for what it represents. No one else with similar complexions had been able to guide me in this art class. I had completed the impossible painting. The hours in the studio obliged me to focus on who I had been and offered me an opportunity to define how I wanted to be seen. I'll continue this momentum at Princeton, where I'll major in economics and art. I now know that color is the livelihood of life. Our varied complexions are the foundation of a thriving society. To my younger sister, Daniela, a sophomore at Hewitt and prep contingent 45, my story is a reminder that anything is possible. And to the rest of my family, thank you for always loving me. To the graduating class of 2026, remember that your real selves brighten up any room with your own colors. You are radiant. Our stories, our prep narratives, our lives in our neighborhoods do not represent shame, but testify to our courage and determination to navigate novel environments. Our accomplishments thus far have left the most brilliant, indelible stains on our world. We're nowhere done yet forging our own masterpieces with our palettes of diversity of thought, ideas, and culture. Let's paint the world with our vibrant strokes of love and respect. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a longtime prep trustee, Mr. Sandy Osborne of tonight's honorary firm, Kelso.